Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today I'm going to be letting you guys know all about my most anticipated reads of 2024. Happy almost New Year. I am so excited for all of the books that are going to be coming out in 2024. This is just a list of 12 of my most anticipated books. These are not the only books that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I could go on for about 50 books, but these are the ones that I haven't heard many people talk about, that are on my radar, and the ones that might be like picks for my book club moving forward. So if you've been thinking about joining my book club over on Patreon, of course I will link that down below if you're interested in reading any of these. These will be on the polls in 2024 and I'm so excited to get to them. First up, we have one that's already been kind of buzzed about, I guess, in my Patreon group, and that is Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. I haven't read anything by Steve Kavanaugh yet, but I've heard a lot of people really love his work, and this one's getting really good reviews just for the arcs right now. I'll read you the description. I'm going to be directly reading all of these descriptions, obviously, because I don't know much about these books, but it says it's for fans of The Silent Patient and Gone Girl, which are two of my favorite thrillers of all time, and it's a razor-sharp Hitchcock-inspired psychological thriller, kind of like a Stranger on the Train situation where two people are killing for each other. They make a dangerous pact to take revenge on behalf of the other after being pushed to the brink. On a dark evening in New York City, two strangers meet by chance and over drinks discover they have much in common, including loneliness and intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed them. They come up with a perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home when the beautiful brownstone that she shares with her husband is invaded. She's attacked by a man who disappears into the night. Will she ever feel safe again? Intricate, heart-racing, and from an author who is the real deal. Okay, that's random. It will keep you breathless until the final page. The early reviews are really great. It has a 4.25 rating on the 12 early reviews on Storygraph. I already have it on my to-read list, and this is definitely going on the poll for my book club. Next up, we have Perfect Little Lives by Amber and Danielle Brown. Amber and Danielle Brown wrote one of my favorite thrillers of 2023, which was Someone Had to Do It. And I believe this one's already out. I think it came out this month in December, but I'm kind of counting it as a 2024 thriller because I'm doing all holiday reads or all like Christmassy, snowy themed reads in December, so this will probably be in my first thriller video of 2024. I am so excited for this one. It's getting kind of mixed reviews from what I've seen based on the arcs, but I am so excited either way. I just loved Someone Had to Do It so much. I love the way that they put such scandalous drama and smut in their little rich people drama thrillers. I cannot wait to eat this one up. It says, on Asher Lane, some secrets are worth killing for. Simone's mother was murdered when she was 13 and her father was convicted. Overnight, she went from living in a wealthy white neighborhood to just scraping by. 10 years later, she's given up on her dreams and lives a quiet life writing book reviews and getting serious with her boyfriend. But a true crime documentary is hounding her for a scoop, and the past seems set on haunting her. After the documentary guy reveals his father and her mother had a years-long affair, she's determined to find out who really kills her mother all those years ago. She's convinced that all the evidence now point to this guy's dad, a renowned judge who had everything to lose for his affair. Playing the game from all sides, she enlists his help in her investigation into his own family, whether he realizes it or not. But is she so desperate for closure that she'll risk imploding her own life? Oh, see, I hate like podcast kind of stuff in my thrillers. I think that's so played out, but a true crime documentary, I feel like that's the way to do it. Also, this is not for 2024, this is actually for 2025, but I know of a true crime documentary inspired thriller coming out in 2025 from Ashley Winstead. She was talking about it on my Patreon live show, and that is like my most anticipated book. I've thought about it every single day since she told me about it. It's literally inspired by Don't Fuck with Cats, which is my favorite documentary ever. I cannot wait for that. And hopefully Perfect Little Lives kind of meets my little fix while I wait for that book in 2025. Next up, we have what I'm hoping is gonna be my like iconic beachy pool read of the summer and spring of 2024. Oh my god, wait. What if this was the book club pick when we went to Bali? Oh my god. So if you don't know, I am taking a trip to Bali. I'm doing an international meetup in Bali. You can come along with me. If you've heard of Trova Trip, I know like Gavin and Gabby and Meg with Books and all these other booktubers have done Trova Trips and they look so freaking fun. I've been binging their vlogs because I cannot wait to go on my own. We still have a ton of spots left if you want to come with me and have a beachy little trip in Bali. I especially want to meet people on that side of the world where Bali is a little bit more accessible. So if you live in Australia or you live in Asia and you want to meet me and travel with me next summer, please let me know and check out the link down below to come to my international meetup or DM me on Instagram and we can talk about it if you have questions. But that is a sidebar. We might be reading this book in Bali or have it be the book club pick for June when we're going to be in Bali because it just looks so beachy, so drama, so delicious. Y'all know what I love. It is Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, and I have totally gotten into Sally Hepworth this year. I've been loving her books. Her new release, The Soulmate, I thought was so much fun, so exciting. And of course, The Good Sister was one of my favorite books that I read this year. So her new one is Darling Girls. It is a twisty domestic thriller about a group of ordinary women that you would just see on the street any day of the week. But these three friends have a bond that no one can fully understand. It takes them back decades when they were girls living on a farm with a foster mother named Miss Fairchild. And Miss Fairchild had rules and she could be quite unpredictable. She was never to be crossed, and in a moment of desperation, the three broke away from Miss Fairchild. They thought they were free, but the reach of someone with such power is long, and even though they never saw her again, she's always somewhere in the shadows of their minds. When bones are discovered buried underneath the farmhouse of their childhood, they're called in by the police to tell what they know, and against their will, they are brought back to the past. It asks the question, what are we capable of when we're in a desperate place, and how much can we truly hide the demons inside us? Can the past ever truly be buried? So these three just like rich people, drama, suburban women have a dark past. And I love like creepy little child. Like I'm imagining these three girls ganging up on this abusive woman and killing her and then getting away with it. I cannot wait. Next up, we have one from Christina Henry, and she wrote one of my favorite books of last year, which was Near the Bone. It didn't come out last year, but it was one of my favorites of 2022. In 2024, she has a new one called The House That Horror Built. And that kind of reminds me of like what people refer to New Line Cinema as. New Line Cinema was the production house that produced A Nightmare on Elm Street. And that production company is referred to as the house that Freddie built because it was their first big hit. And nobody really believed in Wes Craven and his vision. So I think it's a reference to that. Y'all know me and my horror movie lore. I'm obsessed with it, so I love that little reference thrown in there. It immediately captured my attention. It says, Javier values discretion, and Harry has always tried to clean their house immaculately, keep her head down, and keep her job safe. She needs the money to support her son, but then she starts hearing noises from behind a locked door. Noises that sound like a human calling for help, even though Javier lives alone and never has visitors. Harry knows not asking questions is a vital part of keeping her job, but she soon finds that the forbidding house may be home to secrets she cannot ignore. She's always loved horror movies, so it's not a total coincidence that she took a job cleaning house for a movie director, Javier Castillo. His forbidding Greystone Chicago mansion, Bright Horses, is filled from top to bottom with terrifying props and costumes, as well as glittering awards from his career making horror films, until family tragedy and scandal forced him to vanish from the industry. Ooh, a woman is finding dark secrets in a house filled with horror memorabilia that's owned by a horror movie producer? Yes, yes, yes. Give it to me now. I knew that I got that reference. I'm so excited for that one. Next up, we have another horror book, and that is Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. This is another reference in the title to a common horror trope. Unfortunately, it is a recurring trope in the horror genre, referred to as Bury Your Gaze, where every gay person dies in a horror movie. It's talked about a lot in the Amazon mini docuseries Queer for Fear, which is one of my favorite documentaries I've ever watched. I absolutely love it. If you are queer or an ally and you like horror, it's a must watch. And this one has a very short, very vague synopsis, but nevertheless, I'm intrigued. It's a heart-pounding story about what it takes to succeed in a world that wants you dead. Misha is a jaded scriptwriter who's been working in Hollywood for years and has just been nominated for his first Oscar. But when he's pressured by producers to kill off a gay character in the season finale, he discovers it's not that simple. Haunted by his past and past mistakes, he must risk everything to find a way to do what's right. So obviously queerness, horror, that's made for me, and I love all the like horror movie centric books that seem to be coming out in 2024. I have constantly been asking for horror books that read like horror movies, and I feel like we're gonna get a ton of that next year. Sticking to the theme, we have a release from Stephen Graham Jones in 2024 called I Was a Teenage Slasher. Stephen Graham Jones is notoriously kind of hit or miss for me, but I'm hoping that this one is a hit. It says it's a classic slasher with a twist, perfect for fans of Riley Sager and Grady Hendrix, which sounds exactly like me. It takes place in 1989 in Texas, a place where everyone knows everyone's business. So it goes for Tolly Driver, a good kid with more potential than application, 17 and about to be cursed to kill for revenge. In this book, Stephen Graham Jones explores Texas, where he grew up, the unfairness of being an outsider through a slasher horror that he lives from the perspective of the killer, writing his own autobiography. Find yourself rooting for a killer in this summer teen movie of a novel gone full blood-curdling tragic. Okay, so that was a weirdly written synopsis. I feel like that's not their final synopsis that's going to be on the cover, but I'm still very intrigued nonetheless. Next up, we have one that I already pre-ordered, and that is First Light by Liz Kieran. I am so excited for this because it is the sequel to one of my favorite books of 2023, which was Night's Edge. Night's Edge was a bisexual vampire horror book slash romance about what happens in an apocalyptic world where vampirism is spreading like COVID. And usually I hate like pandemic books that came in the wake of COVID, but this one just did it so well and so differently. And First Light is the continuation of our little sapphic romance as our two girlies face the impending apocalyptic world and the disease that's out to get them. It comes out in March or April, or either late March or early April, but I already have it pre-ordered, so it's gonna get on my doorstep the day that it comes out, and I'm so excited for it. Next up, we have Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker Martin. I was really let down by the book that I read from this author this year, but I really want to give her another chance. I love queer horror, so I'm ready for this one to just blow me away in 2024. Hopefully she got a better editor. It says it's But I'm a Cheerleader meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers, two iconic, like very 80s coded horror movies. So I love that description, and it's a searing second novel from Manhunt star Gretchen Felker Martin. It takes place at a conversion therapy camp deep in the Utah desert where 6 queer teens fight for their souls and their very survival against a vile and ancient terror. So it's giving like what everyone wanted Camp Damascus to be. And literally, I wish I would have realized this when I was putting together this list, but y'all, I got very carried away once I went down the wormhole of horror movie coded books coming out in 2024, because our next book is Horror Movie, a Novel by Paul Tremblay. And Paul Tremblay is another author that's very hit or miss for me, but this synopsis, like, it just sucks me in, okay? I love horror movies. It says it's a chilling twist on the cursed film genre from best-selling author Paul Tremblay. In June 1993, a group of young filmmakers spent 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a disturbing art house horror flick. The weird part is only 3 of the film's scenes were ever released to the public, but underground, the movie has a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. The man who played the thin kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay, the bizarre events of the filming, and the dangerous crossed lines on set. As memories flood back, boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur, but he's going to help remake the film, even if it means navigating a world of cynical producers, egomaniac directors, and surreal fan conventions. Demons of the past be damned, but at what cost? Horror Movie is an obsessive, psychologically chilling, and suspenseful twist on a cursed film that breathlessly builds an unforgettable and mind-bending conclusion. Wow, this has no reviews yet, but I'm very, very excited to see how this one is. And I just love that, like, everyone is on the same horror movie vibes for 2024. I cannot wait to do a vlog with a ton of these books in it. It's gonna be so good. I feel like even if these books flop, like, I'll just have so much fun with them. Next up, we have The Queen by Nick Cutter. It's about a young woman searching for her missing friend and uncovering the shocking truth behind her disappearance. On a sunny morning in June, Margaret Carpenter wakes up to find a new iPhone on her doorstep. She switches it on and finds a text from her best friend Charity. The problem is that Charity's been missing for over a month, and most people in town, even the police, have given up on her and think she's dead. Margaret and Charity have been lifelong friends, knowing the most intimate details about each other, but Charity carries a secret that even Margaret is unaware of, a secret engraved in her DNA. For Charity is also known as Subject 6, the crown jewel of Project Athena, an unorthodox gene manipulation experiment from a tech titan. And when Charity's gene sequencing actualizes during a traumatic event at a high school party, it sets in motion a chain of events that will end in tragedy, bloodshed, and death. Now Charity wants Margaret to know her story, the real story, in a narrative that takes place over one feverish day. Ooh, I love that, fast-paced vibes. Margaret follows a series of increasingly dreadful breadcrumbs as she forges deeper into the mystery of her best friend, a person she truly never knew at all. Ah, this sounds so good. Why does this sound like, have y'all seen that movie Missing? Oh my God. There is this production company that makes movies that are like, it's like you're following the screen of a laptop the entire course of the movie. They're horror/thriller movies. I would say definitely more thriller than horror, where you're searching for a missing person. The first one was called Searching, and then the one that came out this past year was called Missing. I loved Missing so much, and this sounds like very similar to that plot. It's always like following one person looking for someone else that's close to them that's gone missing, and it's using like an iPhone. You have to put the pieces together. Oh my God, it sounds so good. On to our last couple books. We have The Day of the Door by Laurel Hightower. I love Laurel Hightower. I always rate her books really high, so I'm super excited for a new one from her. This one is about 3 grieving siblings confronting their manipulative mother after learning of her participation in a popular paranormal TV show designed to dramatize the most traumatic day of their childhood. It's The Haunting of Hill House meets A Head Full of Ghosts. So super, super vague, but I think that sounds so good. I love when Laurel Hightower gets into trauma rep and grief content, and I cannot wait for her take on that. Finally, the last book I'm looking forward to the most in 2024 is the new release from Eric LaRocca, The Skin Was Once Mine and Other Disturbances. Of course, their signature style of short stories all mixed together in little creepy snippets are my absolute favorite. The past 2 years, some of their short story releases have been in my top 20 books of the past couple years. And this is a long long synopsis. It's detailed, so let's get into it. There are 4 devastating tales in this modern horror collection. This skin was once mine. When her father dies under mysterious circumstances, Jillian finds herself grieving the man she idolized while struggling to feel comfortable in her childhood home she was sent away from nearly 20 years ago by her venomous mother. Then she discovers a dark secret in her family's past that will threaten to undo everything she's ever known about her beloved father, and more importantly, herself. It's only natural to hurt the things we love the most. Then we have Seedling, about a young man's father calling him early in the morning to say that his mother passed away. He arrives home to find his mother's body still in the house. Struggling to process what happened, he noticed a small black wound on his wrist. Inside of the wound is as black as onyx, and it's seemingly limitless. He is even more unsettled when he discovers his father is cursed with the same affliction. He becomes obsessed with these wounds, exploring the insides and tethering himself to the black threads that curl from inside his poor father. Then we have all the parts of you that won't easily burn. Enoch Ledbetter goes to buy a knife for his husband to use at an upcoming dinner party, and he encounters a strange shopkeeper who draws him into an intoxicating new obsession and sets him on a path toward destruction. And last, we have Prickle. 2 old men revive a cruel game with devastating consequences. It already has 6 early reviews and an average rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars across those reviews. I just cannot wait. We have all the scandalous thrillers, all the horror movie horror, and all the mental health, trauma, queer commentary. I cannot wait for it. I feel like all of these books are so up my alley, and I am so excited to get to them over the next year. Let me know down below if you want any of these to be book club picks. Also, let me know if there are any books that you would want to specifically read for my book club or in Bali that are not mentioned in this video and are coming out in 2024. And if you are not currently going to Bali but you want to, please check out that Trova Trip link down below or DM me on Instagram. I seriously want to meet you guys so much. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially to meet you guys that live on the other side of the world. I don't know if this would ever come up again, so I really want you guys to take advantage of it. I cannot wait to meet you there. And thank you again for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!